What's up, hockey people? It's your buddy Choppadong. It is Friday. It's Freebie Friday. If you don't know what that is, we unlock all of the articles, research, and the coaching picks page for NBA for everybody that has wanting to take a look at DFSArmy.com but has not made the leap yet for whatever reason. So head to the comments section. You'll see a link in there to get rolling on the site. If you're an NBA guy today, there's only one hockey game today, so it's going to be a pretty boring slate for hockey people. I did at least want to show you last night's results. We talked a little bit yesterday about cash and not stacking versus GPP and stacking, and about how one should lead to higher scores than the other. And I think last night I could end this at one slate. Last night was the perfect slate to show you this. It couldn't have come out better results wise. And we'll dive in here in a second, but I want to show you that making several GPP type lineups is going to be more boom or bust. You're going to have more high scores. You're also going to have more low scores. And making a cash lineup that spreads out typically lands in the middle somewhere. Some nights they go off. A lot of nights they don't. But they're usually higher than your bust GPP lineups, but lower than your good GPP lineups. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. You're trying to set a high floor that makes it harder for risk takers to get over, to beat you. And you scoop your head-to-head money that way. You're never really aiming for the sweeps in the head. I mean, you are, but you're really aiming to play a little bit safer and get into the top half, top third, or maybe top quartile of opponents, because that's what's actually going to make you money without taking a lot of risk, which means you can do it more often. So you kind of come down to two different styles of play. Cash players are going to want to win every day, and GPP players are okay with going on long losing streaks as long as they hit really, really hard sometimes. It's just the nature of the mentalities. Maybe you're that guy that prefers one over the other. I'm more of a cash game player. I still play GPPs because I like them and I like the upside. And I think that I'm a good enough player that I can get in there often enough to make it worth my while. I don't ever really play the big lotto ticket GPPs, though. I don't like those. I don't like getting beat by some guy that has, I don't know, some of the stupider plays on the slate in it that just happen to work out. That kind of tilts me. So I kind of stay out of those. I stay in the other contests that I'm a little bit more likely to win. So that's, and likely to win. I mean, I don't win GPPs very often, but I'll show you I've been on a good run lately here in a minute. So let's dive in. But I'll show you Choppadong's easy place to tweet me. All the links to my pinned tweet are out there for Freebie Friday. Articles, research, coaching. Coaching populates later in the day, just so you know, if you want to play NBA. Click these links, take you right to the page, and help me spread the word. March Sweeps is here. That means that I'm buying March VIP memberships. The more people become VIPs, the more people's memberships I will buy. It's that simple. For about every 20 people that sign up under my referral code and my link, I'm going to cough up one VIP membership. So 40 people sign up, I'll open a second. If 60, that's three. And I'm going to keep going. I want to be buying, obviously, 100 memberships. And, you know, if I get that crazy, then I would honestly lower my parameters and maybe buy every 10 memberships. I don't know how I would do it. But what I know is it's a lot of fun to give back. I'm buying at least one every month. And that's a good thing. I really want to get to two. I got to two in December. And I want to get to 3 or 4 by the end of the year. I think that's a realistic goal, but it takes your help. So I appreciate the retweets and the entries, because the more you guys retweet, the more you pass the word out, the more people might want to become involved. The more you're going to get credit for that, because the more you enter, the more you have a chance to win. It's very, very simple. Let's jump into the NHL results page here. Yeah, I'm showing you a whole thing. I usually don't show my balance that much because I kind of get flamed for it, and it's kind of useless because I pull money in and put money, take money out and pull money in all the time when it comes to FanDuel, and I never am ever going to actually tell anybody my total bankroll. I can tell you I have redeposited once now since. I've pulled more money out than I ever have put in to DraftKings. Started with about 25 bucks, and I've pulled money out multiple times. But I don't really owe anybody any justification. I'm a coach and a contributor inside DFSArmy.com, and I'm a good one. And I can help you improve your game no matter what your experience level is, whether you've got 8,000 times the bankroll I've got or not. I don't really give a shit. And to be quite honest with you, I learned that lesson when I was 18 years old, so all the little internet trolls and flamers can get bent, because I learned more at 18 than a lot of these guys learned at 40 something years old living in their parents' basements because the golf coach, I was a good golfer, and I only have had what 2 or 3 golf lessons in my life, and they were both by a guy named Marshall Smith in Northeast Oklahoma who couldn't break 80 if I was hitting the golf ball for him. But he was good enough to teach Chichi Rodriguez. He was good enough to teach Craig Stadler, two notable PGA Tour pros with long-standing careers in the 70s and the 80s. So if he could coach them, he could probably coach me. I don't care how good of a player he was. I don't care if he didn't play in great big tournaments. All I cared about was because he helped me. Can he help me with my game? And yeah, I know that winning lots of money helps credibility with people and whatnot. But screw that, dude. I ain't a fish. I take a little bit more pride out of helping other people than I do in my own game. 2 out of 97, second out of 97 people, right? Let's blow this up. So second out of 97 people is a pretty good score, right? What was it? 216 in hockey? Pretty good score, right? It was a stacked lineup. The cash lineup was the 125. It's duplicated. I threw it in the tournament just in case, but I also put it in a cash game at 51st. It was 49th with 3 periods remaining last night. Something happened very late in the last game, kicked me down a spot or two, knocked me out of the money. Big whoop. 125. It's about the score I'm targeting. 130, 135 gets her done almost every night. So I missed by about 10 points. And look, the 110, the other GPP lineup, 105, the other GPP lineup. I put in 3 GPP lineups in one. I said I would do 1 and 1 last night, but I felt like, you know what the hell? I'm just going to play like I normally play. I'll just kind of make sure my cash lineup is out there too, and kind of add that in because a lot of times I'll play a 3-max or a 5-max tourney and just throw 4 or 5 bullets in it, and just play that way. And I study my cash by did that lineup hit top half, and if it did, great. And if it didn't, then I would have missed cash games. Even though the money lines are not exactly the same from a 50-50 spot in a 50-50 contest versus a tournament, they're close enough that if I'm, well up in the top half, then I would have cashed in cash games too. That's kind of how I track my games, but I play a little bit more tournaments. In hockey, I don't ladder a lot. Baseball, I don't ladder a lot. NFL, I do. NBA, I do some, but I ladder more with triple ups in NBA. We could talk about all that as VIPs inside the coaching forums. That's a little tidbit for you someday, whatever. You can see recently I did some head-to-head stuff and just got blitzed because I scored a 78 with a cash lineup. So, shit does fall out of the sky and hit you square in the face. It just does. That was a horrible day. But if you go back not too far, second out of 1190, there's another tournament hit. I hit my tournaments. It's all good. $120, whatevs. You see a whole lot of losing in there, though. It's hockey. It's what it does. So you score a little bit along the way, especially when you play more of a GPP style instead of a cash style. Cash, you can grind a little bit better, barring this debacle of a night. But let's go ahead and let's look at the lineups. In fact, let's look at the other bigger GPP lineup first because I 3-maxed that one. Where is it? Here it is. I want to see that it was stacked. It was probably the New Jersey lineup on what was it, a 4-game slate one night? Is that what it was? So what do we got? Yeah, it's the New Jersey lineup. When they came out, everyone was playing Pittsburgh and cried and said it was a horrible slate. But no, it wasn't. You just had to be contrarian. If you don't know how to be contrarian, you need to be a VIP. So there's a New Jersey stack in there, and that's why it hit 166 and went over the cash lines, and that's why it did well in a tournament where the slate was flipped upside down. You've got to play that way in hockey. You've got to play upside down in hockey. If you can find the chalk, you got to stack against it because the chalk fails in hockey more often than anywhere else. Probably want to see the winning or next to winning line. I wasn't going to win this tournament. I can tell you that. But the next to winning lineup last night. See, look, 216, great. Got second place by 6 points. But look at 271. Wasn't catching that dude. Let's see if he was stacked too. Put him up right next to me. Ottawa, Montreal. Stacked. 271. You ain't doing that with a cash lineup. You can't do that with one-offs because you're not going to hit them all perfectly. Look at this. 3 freaking assists and a goal. And I guarantee you that either Zingle or Duquesne, no assist there, no assist there. Look at that. I'm wrong. Oh, that's because it's Montreal. Hello. And I'm looking at Ottawa. Gallagher, 2 assists. I bet he assisted on that goal. Druin had a monster night. 2 goals, 2 assists. On this goal that Dano scored, I wonder if Gallagher and Druin both did an assist on it. If that's the case, it's 30 some odd points. That's why you have to stack in hockey to win GPPs. You can do the one-off thing all you want, and it's just kind of, it's going to get you close. It's going to get, it's going to have a high floor, but you leave that to your hockey, your 50-50s, maybe your triple ups. But if you're going to play the GPPs, you better be stacking, because more times than not, I've seen a big 4 stack and then a bunch of one-offs win. I've seen 3x3. I've seen 3-2-2. I've seen all sorts of formations win, but there's generally a stacking component in there somewhere. Now, what I do, I stacked Carolina last night in this lineup. Right? Had a one-off for Montreal, thinking they might go off, and Shea Weber would be a good piece of it because he overlaps both scoring lines as well as quarterbacks the power play. That's the kind of defenseman you want to take. 5,300. I told you I don't like spending that. But when I've got all of the value up above in the Carolina second line guys and DeBrincat and Strome and whatnot, man, I can spend up at defense just fine. Right? I even spent up on line A. 0.7% owned is a travesty for Patrick Laine. Dude's going to get it figured out eventually. He's still shooting the damn puck. 3 shots. 3 blocks is a nice little bonus. But 3 shots. He's shooting 4, 5, 6 a night. He's going to score again soon. Start riding that train in GPPs. But, Teravainen, Aho, Niederreiter had good nights. And it paid. Strome and DeBrincat had good nights. And it paid. It got me all the way over the 200. Hit the win with Stolars. Missed the Nielsen call. That one pissed me off because it was on my radar. I saw it and was like, don't know that Ottawa's going to really do much. They should get the win. I did not see that coming, and neither did anybody else. So if I go down to my other entries and we scan through these, we can see this lineup was the cash lineup. Nothing stacked. I did throw Kane in there because I had a ton of money left over picking a bunch of underpriced guys and thought he could break the slate with a 40-point night. Still use Stolars and cash and GPP mostly. Why? Dirt ass cheap. In line to get the win. Didn't get the win. But in line to get the win and doesn't really hurt me in cash or GPPs. Either one at that price when the rest of my skaters kind of hit. If I would have only hit the 12 points, it would have been nice. 137 would have got me in the cash. No problems. But you can see there's no overlap really in here. There were 2 Chicago guys, and everything else was just an underpriced one-off that's fairly solid. Draisaitl was the call I teased yesterday. Our VIPs got it. Draisaitl had himself a decent night, 18.9 points, 8.4% owned, big slate. A couple of blocks. Thought he might be doing a little bit better than that. Thought he might pick up an assist, have a multi-point game. But either way, not bad for a call for a guy that was in an obviously good spot. Looking at one of the other tourney lineups, Columbus, and dud. Josh Anderson came off the second line, so that was nice. Did I run a 4th Columbus guy in there? No. And went with Saros, 25 points there. Not bad. But Giordano, you can see again, I'm not using a Calgary stack here, so I'm using the quarterback. Treba, not using a Winnipeg stack, so I'm using the quarterback. Focused on San Jose forwards and Columbus forwards. And it didn't work out much. Meyer, Pavelski, I didn't have Hurdle. Meyer, Pavelski didn't do so well. Couture didn't do so well. This lineup's trash. As a result. Why? Because that particular line didn't do well, and I stacked it, and therefore it dudded out and crapped out my entire lineup, gave me a horrible score. That's why you don't do that in cash games. Because this happens to you. And if we look at the 4th lineup tonight, happens to you a lot. But that's the nature of GPPs. You stack hits, it does this. It doesn't, it does this. And that's called boom or bust, and that's why you don't do that in cash games, because you don't need to take on this kind of risk. It's nice when it happens to wind up with these kind of results when it takes more than this to win a cash game, but doesn't take this to win a cash game. A 216 and a 50-50 gets me $2 on a dollar. A 135 gets me $2 on a dollar. Why am I taking the risk? Doesn't make any damn sense. Okay, that ought to pretty much wrap up a little bit of where we're going today. Tonight, I won't be doing much. If I play the showdown, I would probably aim towards being a little bit contrarian, taking a second line, maybe an underdog. Kind of like the idea of kicking around 4 skaters off of one team instead of 3 and 3. Maybe 5. The reason why I can get the defenseman, I can cover 2 lines with 2 forwards each. In most cases, and then if any goals come out, if a multi-goal game comes out of that particular team, I'm locking up a lot of the points myself. So that's my little strategy tip for you for showdowns. Who you put in the captain spot? I don't know. Put a defenseman in there. That'd be different. put the center, the top line center in there. Hope he has a good night. Whatever. Hopefully you get the hat trick out of the third line winger and you have him in your captain spot. You can't be beat if you do that. So, but it's a pretty random spot. There's no general strategy for the captain spot other than it's just got to hit. And that's the way it works. And I'm sure as time goes on, we'll study it more. We'll get more trends. We'll get more ideas of what is actually working more times than not, and then we can cater to that. But let's say that the best option for captain is the top line center, and 35% of the time it's in the winning GPP lineup. That doesn't mean do that, and you're going to win more often. It means 65% of the time it still is not that guy. So, common sense. We got to go back to a little bit of common sense. Hopefully, you guys see a little bit of what's going on. Hopefully, you see how perfect this worked out last night with one GPP lineup doing really, really well, the other two doing less than what it took to make cash lines, and one cash line with a high floor, even without the goalie win being very, very close to the cash line because you just don't have to take a lot of risk to get to the top half of the fields. That'll do it for this video. We'll be back probably not Saturday, probably back Monday. We'll do this experiment again, and we'll just keep showing that hopefully we're what? Cash line was about 125. That's about what the cash lineup did. And we'll see how long it takes us to get a cash lineup that blows up with not being stacked. And we'll see how often these others blow up instead and go for 180 or higher versus the one, and how often they go for 130 or less. And we'll just kind of keep track of it that way and kind of see if we can't get a feel for what's going on. All right, thanks for following along, guys. Hit the comment section, hit the link, coupon code CHOP, CHOP. Become a member today, Freebie Friday for NBA. And hopefully we'll see you back out here on Monday. Like and subscribe to the channel too. I really appreciate that. That little bit of help, and then help me with March sweeps out there on Twitter land. Take care, guys. Talk to you after the weekend.